The sun had just begun its slow climb above the savanna, painting the horizon in molten shades of gold and crimson. The grass, still heavy with dew, shimmered like countless tiny mirrors. Herds of wildebeest grazed in the distance, their silhouettes sharp against the morning light. And in the midst of this ancient land, a lion walked alone. His name was Cairo, a lion in the prime of his life. His mane was thick and dark, swaying gently in the dawn breeze, a crown that marked him as a ruler of the plains. Yet for all his majesty, Cairo's eyes carried the weight of solitude. A rival coalition had scattered his pride months ago, leaving him exiled, roaming without companions, heirs, or purpose. For lions, loneliness was a silent death. Without cubs, without pride, their roars lost meaning. Cairo, however, pressed on, guided only by instinct and a quiet, unspoken longing for something he could not name. It was during one of these aimless wanderings that fate intervened. As Cairo padded through a stretch of tall grass near a watering hole, his sharp ears picked up a sound. At first, he dismissed it as the cry of a bird or the bleating of a goat-like antelope. But then it came again, shrill, broken, desperate. The cry of a young creature in distress. Following the sound, he came upon a sight that made him pause. Beneath a clump of acacias lay a zebra foal, barely a few weeks old. Its striped coat was muddied with dust, its spindly legs trembling as it struggled to rise. The foal's wide eyes brimmed with terror, and not far from where it lay, the ground bore the signs of violence. Lion tracks, tufts of zebra hair, dark stains of blood. The herd had been ambushed the night before. The foal's mother was gone. The little zebra saw Cairo and froze, expecting the end. Predator and prav, this was the law of the savannah. The lion should have lunged, ended the foal's trembling with a swift strike of his jaws. But Cairo stood still, his amber eyes fixed on the fragile creature. Something stirred in him, something buried beneath layers of instinct and hunger. Instead of pouncing, he approached slowly, lowering his great head until his mane brushed the foal's trembling flank. He sniffed, exhaled softly, and let out a low rumble, not a roar, not a growl, but a sound of reassurance. The zebra foal whimpered, its striped body shaking. And then, against all reason, it leaned into him, seeking warmth. From that moment, predator and prey were bound. Lumo. That was the name the foal would later be given by the man who first observed this impossible bond, Dr. Samuel Reed, a wildlife biologist who had spent decades studying lion behavior in the Masai Mara. From his vantage point on a rocky outcrop, binoculars in hand, Reed watched in stunned silence as the lion allowed the foal to follow him. Step 4, unsteady step. This, Reed whispered into his recorder, defies every natural law I've known. In the days that followed, Cairo did what no one could have predicted. He protected Lumo as though the foal were his own blood. When hyenas lurked too close, their laughter echoing across the plains, Cairo rose with thunder in his chest, driving them away with a single charge. When vultures circled overhead, sensing weakness, he stood tall, daring them to descend. At night, when the cold winds swept across the savannah, Lumo nestled against the lion's golden body, striped fur pressed to tawny mane. The foal's tiny breaths matched the rise and fall of Cairo's chest. And for the first time in months, the lion slept peacefully. Cairo hunted, but not for the foal. He chased antelope, brought down wildebeest, and fed alone, while Lumo grazed nearby on tender shoots of grass. It was an odd sight, a hunter and a grazer, moving side by side, like shadow and light. As the weeks turned into months, the foal grew stronger. Lumo's legs steadied, his frame filled out, and his stripes darkened into the bold black and white pattern that marked his kind. Yet he never strayed far from Cairo, never forgot the lion who had shielded him from a world eager to swallow him whole. But the savannah is not kind to the unusual. Whispers of danger followed them. Other lions caught the scent of zebra on Cairo's mane, puzzled by his refusal to kill. Rival males, seeking dominance, prowled closer. The zebra herds themselves shied away from Lumo, confused by his companion. To them, Cairo was not guardian, but executioner, a shadow of death, walking beside their kin. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the land in fire, 3 young male lions approached. Their manes were thin, their hunger sharp. They circled Cairo and Lumo, their golden eyes fixed on the foal. Cairo rose, mane bristling, lips curled back to reveal his fangs. He roared, a sound so deep it shook the air. The challengers hesitated, but did not retreat. They lunged, claws slashing. The battle was brutal. Dust swirled, roars echoed, blood was spilled. But Cairo, driven by something more than instinct, fought with the rage of a father protecting his son. When the dust cleared, the young males fled, battered and humiliated. Lumo pressed his head against Cairo's flank, trembling with relief. The lion, though bleeding, licked the foal's striped face, rumbling softly as if to say, "You are safe." From his camp, Dr. Reed recorded every detail, his voice thick with awe. "This is no accident," he murmured. "This is choice. This is love." Time, however, marched on. Lumo grew taller, his body sleek and strong. No longer a helpless foal, he had become a young zebra capable of running with the wind. But yet the bond with Cairo tethered him, keeping him apart from his herd. It was inevitable that the day would come. At the height of the dry season, when water was scarce, Cairo led Lumo to a vast watering hole. Herds of elephants, wildebeest, and zebras had gathered. The moment the zebras saw Lumo, they froze. Whinnies of recognition rose from the group. One mare stepped forward, her eyes wide with disbelief. It was Lumo's aunt, a survivor of the attack that had killed his mother. She called to him with urgency, her body trembling with recognition. Lumo hesitated, torn between two worlds. He looked at her, then back at Cairo. His heart pounded. Cairo stood silent, his golden eyes calm, though inside, something fractured. He understood. He could not keep Lumo forever. The zebra belonged to his kind. The mare called again, and this time Lumo stepped forward. Slowly, he walked toward the herd. He sniffed him, welcomed him, accepted him. The stripes among stripes, the family restored. But Lumo did not forget. Again and again, he turned his head, eyes searching for Cairo. The lion remained where he stood, watching the wind ruffling his mane. And then, in a gesture no one could have expected, Cairo lowered his head to the earth in silence and acknowledgement. Farewell. Dr. Reed wiped tears from his weathered face. "I have seen nature's cruelty," he whispered, "but today I saw its grace." Seasons passed. Cairo returned to his solitary roaming, his mane now streaked with the dust of many battles. He was no longer the lion he once had been, yet within him remained the memory of a striped child who had given him purpose. And Lumo, grown into a strong stallion, never forgot the lion who had been his protector. Though he ran with his herd, he often lingered at the edges, staring at the horizon. Sometimes, in the dying light of dusk, a lion's silhouette appeared far away. And in that silent moment, predator and prey remembered the bond that had defied the laws of the wild. It was proof that survival was not only about tooth and claw. It was about connection, about love in its most unexpected form. On the endless African plains, their story became legend carried in whispers of wind and rustle of grass. For even in the wild, where every heartbeat is a struggle, compassion blooms. Sometimes, against all odds, a lion can raise a zebra as his own.